3 years later, I was given the news I was going totally blind because of a genetic eyesight disease that hit me and my brother Jeffrey. So I went totally blind. I thought, what can I do as a blind man? If I'm blind, I cannot live my dreams. I live within the confines and the limitations of what blind people cannot do. At 50, my brother, also totally blind, living in Durban in South Africa, he built a yacht, a sailing boat in his back garden, told his friends, I'm going to sail this from Africa to Australia. Totally blind, totally alone, nobody else. Someone said, Jeffrey, you are not just a blind man, you are a stupid blind man, because blind people cannot do that. But he said, no, it's not impossible, it has just never been done before. That, my friends, he took 53 days sailing halfway around the world. He nearly died in the process, but he made it. And he said to me, Miles, if you are going to fulfill your potential, you have to start with your dreams, not your circumstances. I'm going to share some very quick life principles. I'm going to ask you to write some of them down. This is the first one. Start with your dreams, not your circumstances. My life was lived starting with the fact that I was blind. And my brother said, start with your dreams, not your circumstances. You, my friends, you entrepreneurs, people in whatever your personal and business situation now, you will never fulfill your potential if you start with your circumstances, with how much money you've got in the bank, with the economy. Forget about all that, start with your dreams. So I came back to England. I always wanted to be a pilot, so I learned to fly a microlight, a regular aeroplane, you call it an ultralight here. If I couldn't see, I thought, how can I fly? Well, my ears are good, so I thought if I had speech output on my flight instrument, I could fly. I had a sighted co-pilot. I'm now a fully qualified pilot. Decided to fly from London to Sydney. The night before I was due to leave, my co-pilot has a panic attack. He phones his wife and says, I'm not going to go. I'll die if I go with that silly blind man. So 10 o'clock at night, I have to find someone else willing to fly all the way to Australia with a blind man leaving tomorrow in the morning. I had something like 11 hours to find someone else to fly to Australia with me. This first video clip is what it was like when I actually arrived in Sydney 55 days later, having flown more than halfway around the world and nearly died a few times in the process. This is what it was like. You and I have got two components, two parts to life. There is the life going on all around you, which you cannot control. Have you noticed that? You can't control what's happening out there, but the other part of your life is what's going on in your head and your heart. And you, my friends, have got total control over what goes on here and here. Is that right? Yeah. Are you still there? Yeah. Okay, usually when they're just a silly blind man, they go out very quietly, they drink a few beers, they just come back at the end to clap, so have to check that you're still there. Well, so listen, my friends, I lived my life for many years, up until the age of 50, I lived my life knowing because I was blind, my circumstances out there were controlling my happiness, my potential for success. My brother said that is rubbish. Your potential for success is here. It's what is between your ears. It's not out there. You, my friends, if you're going to succeed in an entrepreneurial venture, it is not based on the economy out there. It's based on how you respond to the economy. The biggest potential for growth in Holland is here in this room. It's not out there. Stop waiting for the economy. I was wasting years waiting maybe for medical science or for God to heal me. Once I could see again, then I could be successful. I wasted years. Many of you are waiting for the economy to change before you can live your dreams and be more successful. That is nonsense. That is a victim mentality. You have got the choice here. So I've also learned the importance of not being afraid of doing things that frighten you, never done before. Draw a circle around where you're sitting now. That circle represents you. Everything you've done in your life up until today. Now, when you do something new, like me, drag racing or abseiling, you are stepping outside your circle, into the unknown. But I used to think I would take that new experience and pull it into my circle, into my comfort zone. You can't do that because your circle is full of what you've done before. The only way that that experience becomes part of your life, your circle has to grow to make room for it. So every time I step outside my circle gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Here's a question. When was the last time you did something for the first time in your life? That was the last time that you grew. The last time your circle grew was when you stepped outside your circle and did something for the first time. That's common sense. If you are not growing your circle, you are vegetating. You are just recycling who you are. It's good to recycle cardboard. It's bad to recycle you. So big life lesson, never be, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, you don't want to be like an old piece of cardboard or something. Never be afraid of stepping outside your circle and facing your fears. It's never as bad as you think. Life is serious enough without you and I adding to it. This is me at the bottom of the Red Sea, 10 meters down. My friend in the wheelchair is paralyzed. He has no legs. And this is the only picture in the world of a blind man pushing a paralyzed man along the seabed using his right stick to find the way. Have a copy of that, the little card you've got there, so got the picture, and you see there on that little card, it says the only limits in your life are the ones that you accept yourself. This man, by the way, in the wheelchair, he drives his own motor car with hand controls. Not any motor car, he drives a 4.8 litre V12 Ferrari. This man's got serious attitude. You see, it's not what happens to you in life, it's what you do with what happens to you in life that determines your potential for success. Last year, I know you had Richard Branson. He's one of my heroes. He's a real doer. He does things, and he's an amazing man who lives his dreams. As you heard in the introduction, there are 4 simple steps. If you are going to fulfill your potential as an entrepreneur, as a business person, in anything area in your own personal life, 4 simple steps in stepping outside your circle. And by the way, afterwards, at the registration desk, I've got a few copies of an audiobook and another book which gives a lot more information of what I speak about. Number 1, start with your dreams. You're only as big as the dreams you dare to live. Don't tell me about the dreams you're going to do one day. What are you doing now? You're only as big as the dreams you are in the process of living now. Secondly, make a decision to live your dream. As I go around the world, I've spoken in something like 64 countries in the last 2 years. Everywhere I go, people have got dreams. Very few people are living them. You've got to make a decision to do that thing. You've always wanted to start your own business, do this, to do that. I want to say to you, I'm challenging you to make a commitment this year, in the next day or few days, make a decision to do that thing. All achievers in life are dreamers, but not all dreamers are achievers. Are you just a dreamer or are you an achiever? Entrepreneurs are people who make decisions all the time. So have a dream, make a decision. Thirdly, have a plan. This is when me as a blind person, once I've decided to be a pilot or scuba diver or mountaineer, once I've made that decision, now I come back to the planning. Now I think about how the heck can I do it because I'm blind. This is when you start, not with your bank balance, start with what you want to do as an entrepreneur. Once you've made that decision, now you come back, now you look at the economy, now you look at the bank balance, how the heck can I get from here to there? But if you start with the economy, if you start with your circumstances, like I used to start with my blindness, you wouldn't do these things. So you've got to start with your dreams and goals, and of course the last point is to persevere. Don't give up. When things go wrong, it doesn't mean it's a day, it's your day. Get out there, have a good time. Thank you very much.